Hello, I'm Elisa Zhang, and I'm a physician as well as a life coach. I want to wish you a happy 4th of July. So on this 4th of July, when we normally talk about freedom and independence, I thought we might as well talk about financial freedom. So what is financial freedom? Most people would say financial freedom is when you become financially independent, meaning that you no longer have to work for an income in order to pay the expenses to live your life, that you have enough assets or cash flow so that your money is making money for you, and you can either sell off your assets in order to provide money to live off of, or your assets produce cash flow that you don't really have to do a lot of work for, and that brings in enough money to pay for all your expenses. So if you had financial freedom today, how would your life be different? What would you be doing differently? What would be your day-to-day different? Are you working full-time now and you would stop working completely if you had financial independence? Or would you go to part-time? What would you do in your free time? Now, remember, financial independence doesn't mean you have all the money in the world to do anything you want, though some people, that's what they strive for. So they may keep working in order to have money to do whatever you want. If you think about it, if you need less money for your basic expenses, you live in a modest house, you drive modest cars, you don't need luxury vacations, you can economize in many ways, then you don't need as much money or cash flow or assets in order to get to financial independence. And maybe that's worthwhile to you because you really hate what you do for a job. And there are some people who can live on as low as $30,000 a year. So if you're living on $30,000 a year, then really, once you have essentially $1 million in a stock bond portfolio, you could just retire and live off that with the 4% rule, which typically you want to do 3 or 3.5% if you're going to have a super long retirement, because the 4% rule was made on the basis of of lasting for 30 years. So if you're retiring early, there's a good chance that you'll actually want your portfolio to last longer than 30 years. But really, just think about how would your life really be different if you're financially independent? And if you're thinking oh, life would just be so much better, why is that? What will you be doing with that time? How do you want to be spending that time? Who are you spending that time with? And then how can you incorporate more of that into your everyday right now? If it's spending time with people, how can you spend more time with those people? If it's doing certain hobbies or projects, how can you create some more time so that you can do that now? What would it mean potentially giving up or changing in your current life in order to do that? Would you want to downsize your house or drive a less expensive car in order for you to be able to do other things like work less so that you could do more of your hobby? Or would you take a job where you're working less or getting paid less in order to enjoy that job more? So just really think about how your life would change from financial independence, and then think about, well, how can you start making those changes incrementally now? And that way you can actually start to taste that financial freedom now and really make life more about the present instead of just kind of thinking, oh, it'll be better when in the future, or pushing things off until you actually get to financial independence, because every day is not guaranteed, and we never know if we're actually going to make it there. As physicians, we know that it's very possible for some kind of tragedy to happen and for life to be cut tragically short. So what do you need to do to make every day more intentional about how you're living it so that it is closer to that ideal life that you envision? Happy 4th of July. If you would like to talk more about this, if you would like to build a brainstorm what ideal life looks like for you and how to incorporate more of those elements into your daily life, then that's something I can certainly help you with. That's something certainly coaching is a great medium for that. If you are interested at all in finding out more, you can set up a consultation call with me. It's totally free. We can sit and chat. We can chat about what your ideal life looks like and how different it is from you now, and maybe start looking at ways that you can bring more of what you think of as an ideal life into your everyday life now. If you want to set up that consultation call, just go to my website, growyourwealthymindset.com, and right on the homepage, you can hit schedule now. I'd love to talk to you. Happy 4th of July. Thank you.